Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined, as always, by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, and our very special guest tonight, Cecilia Diaz. Am I saying it right?
You are. Hi.
Awesome. Such a beautiful name, and a beautiful accent. We're so looking forward to getting to know you better. But before we start, we always like to do go the round. How was your week? What's going on in your life? All good?
Yeah, it's good. It's busy. Lots going on. It gets dark early, so getting used to it. But
yes.
But yeah, all good. Can't complain much. So yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I'll say it's been a hell of a week. You know, with the elections and whatnot. We're not going to get really into that too much. I'll just say that, you know, for those for whom the election went their way, you know, congratulations or something. For those who didn't, I know you're hurting, and if you are on the side of the folks who won, just know that there are people you love who are having a rough time right now, so look out for them. Be decent to each other, people. You know, that just be people out there, okay?
Oh, that's a great message, Maddie. That's really a great message.
Yeah, thanks.
And it's also, we're getting into that crazy time of year where people feel a lot of stress because of the holidays.
Yeah.
Their team's winning, not winning. They're supposed to be winning.
Bye weeks. What do you do with a bye week, you guys? Jeez.
I know, bye week. Bye-bye. Okay, so did you both catch the full game last? I was happy that we finally had a game that wasn't at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Right? I know. They've been so early all year.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. Especially for us. Did you time zone is
I love the 4:30 to 7:30 games my time zone because I can put like a beef stew into the oven and let it cook during the game, and when it's done, take the stew out, and you got yourself dinner ready to go with no fuss. I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't know beef stew went in an oven. It goes in the oven.
Oh, you can do it, of course, but the version I love is like a sort of like a no peak stew where you put it into not a crock pot, but a Dutch oven, and like 4 hours. Okay. You know, in the oven on 300 degrees, I think is what it is. It's comes out real nice. It's good. It's good. Easy Sunday menu. What's the word for recipe? The word recipe was escaping me there, but I also love with the 4:30 games because it's much more likely I can actually watch it on the TV instead of, you know, I would never watch on a illegal streaming service on my computer, of course, but it's just easier to see them if they're actually on the TV, which I really like.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, it was blacked out here. Like, this is the only place in the entire country. There's like one other tiny small area. It's not that we're tiny, but whatever. I don't understand why we're all blacked out.
The last game was blacked out for you? It wasn't blacked out for me.
The indignities.
That's crazy because you're only like a few miles up the road.
Yeah, I thought it was all of San Diego, but yeah, I just put it on another stream. I had to. Yeah. It was on TV?
For me it was. I don't know if it just changes because you're in North County, but it's crazy. That's weird.
That's weird.
Maybe.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, I didn't even look because I saw the map that it was, so I didn't bother even looking.
It changed on Friday. They changed it.
Oh,
really?
It was supposed to be the Rams, and then they changed it.
Okay.
And Spartacus says, I love early games. I don't know, 10 a.m. though? 10 a.m.
He loves early games. He gets there so early. Drives me nuts.
And hey, Mona says, at least we had the Dodgers. That was pretty wild. I thought they would come back to LA to play one more game. I didn't think they would take it in New York, but it was pretty convincing. And Carolyn says, be kind. We love that.
Yes, be kind.
VPNs help. That's right. Okay, so Sparta is saying San Diego changed from Rams, Seahawks to Packers, Lions late in the week, Thursday or Friday. I did not know. I did not know. You love the morning game. Okay, so I don't know, 10 a.m. Because it's noon in the local market, and that's a nice civilized time to have a game.
All that violence at 10 a.m. Hardly eating your
Yeah,
eggs
I'm
yet.
not a morning person anyway, so yeah. But it's okay. I'll still watch them. I'll still watch them early.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we love getting to know where our origin stories of other Packers fans. So you've got this beautiful accent. You're from Colombia. That's where the accent comes from. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you.
And you live in Southern California. So how the heck did you become a Green Bay Packers fan?
It's a really random story. Can't really make it up if I wanted to.
Okay.
I came to the United States for college a long time ago. And I just by fate or just by like where I had the connections from Colombia, it was in the Midwest. It was in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I went to college, and I think I've told Matt the story before, maybe. And I was just by myself there, and all my college classmates and friends were from Wisconsin, and they were all Packer fans. So like I had no team, I had no alliance to anything because I didn't even know the sport, to be honest. Like I didn't even know how it worked or anything. So it kind of slowly converted me, and I've really always loved sports. Like I come from Colombia, we're like super passionate about soccer and stuff. And so I just got really into it, and like now I'm like all in.
You're addicted.
And then after college, I got a job here in San Diego, so that's how I ended up here. But I've kept the Packers ever since my first year of college.
I love that. I love that. Are you still in touch with your college friends who turned you on to the Packers? Yeah.
I am, yeah. That's awesome.
So you think back on like watching the Packers when you were in college, like with your college friends, what are some of like your favorite games or like memories from that?
I think one of my first, I think my second year watching was the Super Bowl year. So I just remember when we made we were like the wild card and we barely made the playoffs, and then like every playoff game was like more exciting than the last and the last and the last. So like even just watching that in like small town Minnesota in the depths of the winter, there's like 7 feet of snow outside, it's like freezing, and it just felt so like authentic, like I had never experienced anything like that in my life. So
yeah,
cool memories for sure.
Love that. But you were in Minnesota, so you didn't have any like leanings toward the Vikings?
Oh God, no, thank God. No. The Packers got me first. I did live in Wisconsin for a little bit. My last year of college when I was doing my internship, I was in La Crosse. So I kept going to Wisconsin a lot. So it's always been like
Yeah.
Well, I can see how like getting started in your Packers fandom, like, and then they go to the Super Bowl, that can really like, solidify, crystallize it, and like reinforce it. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was kind of plot from heaven, honestly. It was like perfect timing.
It was meant to be. That's what I said. It was meant to be.
Yeah. I think it was for real.
So apart from the Packers, which is kind of hard to even compare anything to that, but apart from that, do you have any fond memories from Wisconsin where you were staying or where you spent time?
Oh yeah, I have so many memories from the Midwest that I didn't even know honestly anything about it when I went. But like again, I think it was so meant to be because I'm so glad I went there. I made so many friends. I went to so many places I would have never gone otherwise. I got into the Packers. It was so meant to be for everything to line up. I love the Midwest. I always will. It was just my college memories, and then like, becoming an adult there and like started speaking a new language all the time, becoming really independent. And then, so I still go back all the time and I love it. It's
good.
It's
good.
Yeah.
So when you think about the Midwest and like your love for it, if you had to describe the Midwest in like 3 words, if you had to boil it down to that, what would you use for that, Cecilia? What do you think?
Snow, because I had never seen snow before I went to the Midwest, like in my life. Niceness. Everybody's so nice. And Maybe like passion for like people's culture and their places where they're at and their sports is people are very passionate, so I like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because like I grew up in Wisconsin, and I don't know that I could pick 3 better words than that, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of good memories there for sure.
Mhm.
And still have fun going back every year. Like when I met up with you, Matt, it's always a good time.
That's right. Absolutely
Yeah.
is. I know. I mean, when I was up in Green Bay for the game that I saw, which of course was the rainy one. Oh my God, who are they playing? The Cardinals. For the Cardinals game. Like just being there, and like around the stadium and Green Bay and like being with my family there. It's always an awesome time.
Oh, it's so much fun. Yeah.
Very special. Very special. And Iowa Joe says, I don't care about the time that the game is on, but if your team loses at noon, it ruins the rest of your day. True. Because it's finishing up about noon. It's
right.
Yeah, it can be a mood changer. And Sparta Chris says you have a villain origin story.
When you said, what's your origin story? Then he chimed in with her villain origin story.
What does she mean by that?
I think because I was in Minnesota.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll ask him later.
Well, at least you had the sense to follow the right team. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Carolyn is admiring your piano, and Carolyn
that's a virtual background.
It's a background, yeah. Carolyn said she has a brother who used to play soccer for Luxembourg when he was young. She's lost her brother since then from COVID, which is really sad to hear. But that's really neat. Luxembourg. We hear about England and Spain and Italy playing soccer. Yeah, I haven't heard that much. Germany. Of course, they're going to play in all the European countries, but it's just funny that maybe because it's such a tiny little country, we don't hear that much about it. But that's really cool, Caroline. All right, so we kind of know how you got to San Diego, and that you're with me on watching the games at 10 a.m. is a little much, but we'll do it. We'll do it, right? No matter what.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So your Twitter bio reads lots of sports and a few too many Seinfeld references. So proud Latina in America's finest city. So let's break this down a little bit.
Okay.
Lots of sports. So other than football, do you play or are you fanatic about any other sport? Tell us.
I still completely fanatic about soccer.
Yeah.
Still very into it. And I'll watch all the European leagues and I'll follow the Colombian players. I went all over the country this summer following the Colombia national team when they were playing the Copa America. So,
oh, neat.
Yeah, basically both footballs.
Right. It's
both feetball. That'd be the plural, right? Feetball. So.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. True. Yeah, it's what I grew up with, and it just doesn't go away.
Yeah, I mean that's Packers for me, definitely. It's what you grew up with, and it doesn't go away. Cecilia, I've never really gotten into watching soccer, not much. So if you're to give a piece of advice to somebody who's just starting to get into it, what's the best way to get excited and kind of get into it?
Probably the Premier League if you want to watch the big name players, and it's accessible in the US. It's easy to watch, so NBC. And then, but I feel like when most new fans get into soccer is during the World Cup or the Euros, the national competitions, because they see all the big names from each country against each other. And the 2026 World Cup is here in the States, so there'll be lots of chances to watch and get into it. So yeah, I would say just start watching Premier League here and there, and then the US national team, start following them, and then you'll hear more of national teams from that. So
yeah,
that's helpful.
You can get them on Peacock too, and you can sort of replay. Yeah,
and then there's a few on NBC or USA every weekend.
Right,
nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think too to kind of follow up with that. Sorry, Don. when I watch football, I know what to watch for, and I know how to like just give like kind of basically like here's what to watch for if I'm watching like with my kids or something. If you're to say like, you know, if we were watching a game together, Cecilia, like what would you say? Here's the thing to watch for to kind of get into it.
Basically, just the big name players, and soccer goes really fast because there's no commercials and there's no like any of the stuff that makes football last forever. So you can't take your eyes off of it. So it's like accelerated. So yeah, I'll just say watch for there's always like, you know, like crazy goals or plays and passes. But I'm sure like once you hear like the big names, you start following them, and that's kind of what to watch for.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like watching soccer, and it seems easier. It's not as glitchy like with the rules and as
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's just fun. Do you I kind of started watching women's soccer. I kind of enjoyed women's soccer too. Yeah, I think it's funner because I don't know. I just like I don't know what
it's
it is.
fun and it's growing a lot. We just got a team here in San Diego. I don't know if you went to the games at Snapdragon in Mission Valley.
No.
Wave. And we had Alex Morgan till she just retired. So the games were packed this minutes. So now the team is pretty popular. So we pretty much fill up the stadium every time. So that's cool.
That makes sense because the kids here have been playing it in school forever, and you know, girls and boys. And we have a women's volleyball team here too.
Yeah, have you been? Yeah. I loved it.
Yes, I watched every game last year. Yeah,
I went to the first game. Okay, so full honesty with you guys, the main reason I went to the game is because Jordan Love's fiance plays for that team. So I was like, I told my friend, I was like, can we please go, because I know he's gonna be there. Like he has to be there. So she's like 9. So we go there. We park super far because it's so packed, and we get there and he's there. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jordan, no. And then we sit there and we're like having so much fun. We're like, this is so cool. There were so many parents with little girls and like so many little girls there with like the signs like women's sports. So we went for like Jordan Love, but ended up like feeling so inspired by the team and by the environment that it created. So like, and all people are going to all the games, and they're coming back for the next year. So I'm excited to go again.
For sure. I tried to get to some games last year. I tried to get friends to go with me, but it was one reason or another I couldn't make it. But
we'll go with you.
Yeah, I'll get there. But I watched every single one. It was kind of cool that they had all the games live streamed on YouTube. Did you know that?
Yeah, I watched some of them too. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
the city responded really well to them, so that was cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I don't think they started again until January, right? It's like later on. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you love soccer, women's and men's. Did you ever play any sports?
You know what? I was never a sport player. I was a dancer. That's what I did as a kid. So I never really played organized sports. I just danced. That was like my thing.
What kind of dance did you grow up doing?
Everything. Like in Colombia, we do a lot of like folklore, typical dances, and then I took some belly dancing, Middle Eastern, Bollywood type of stuff before I left, and then I got here and I started teaching dance, which is also what I do now. I teach dance, cardio, and Zumba, so like all those rhythms, Latin rhythms, and things like that.
Fun, super fun. So too many Seinfeld references. So. For some reason, I feel like you're too young to have watched Seinfeld.
Well, when Seinfeld was done, I was a child. When Seinfeld got done on TV, I was a child. But I love sitcoms, like old sitcoms. And like a weird fun fact about me, I have a really, really good memory for useless things.
Oh, okay. That's great.
So, like, I love Friends and I love Seinfeld to the point where I can recite every episode to you. Like, what?
Oh my God.
Look, wait, can you see? It's Packers with the Friends one.
Oh, nice.
With Friends.
The Friends one. So, I always find Seinfeld references for everything. It's really funny. And I keep rewatching, like when I'm working and when I'm like cleaning around, doing laundry, I always put it in the background because I don't like silence. And it's the best background show. And so I just love that show so much. It's so funny. And also another kind of origin story fact for you guys. Watching those shows when I was still at home, just like made my English so much better, like so good. I was
right.
I honestly owe those shows my fluency. I started learning formally when I was very little because all my family are like English teachers. But we started watching those, and like it just work wonders in my brain just to listen and listen. And yeah, I kind of like started thinking in English after a while. So definitely.
I was just going to ask you that. Can you think in English now, or do you still
I have since like 6 months since I moved here.
Wow.
It's really quick. Your brain just switches. I mean, I still speak Spanish 100% well if I have, but I don't lose it. But yeah, my brain works in English. I also like move in like an English environment. There's some people that live more with like Hispanic people or like their community, so they don't use it as much. Like some of my family in Florida, they don't have to speak English that much. I've never been that way because I went to Minnesota, so I had no choice.
Yeah.
So I've spoken English since the beginning. Yeah, maybe like 6 months in.
That's such a cool way to like learn English better. Like it's almost like immersion, except through television shows.
It's like real English is not like book English. So
yeah, exactly. It's more like how people actually speak. I had a friend in college who was from India, and he went to like a British boarding school basically growing up. So like he learned English with a very like heavy British accent, but then he started watching Beverly Hills 90210 when he was like, as a teenager. And so he like listened very closely, kind of like studied it. And like, I didn't know he was from another country until like the third like month of school. And he was like, oh yeah, you didn't know I was from India? I was like, what are you talking about? Like you have no accent, the culture. Like, what do you mean? It's like, oh no, that's just 90210.
Right. 90210 was a big one. Yeah. Also a big one. Yeah.
So, okay, because I know on Peacock you can watch the Spanish version of the soccer games too. Yes. So do you do that in Spanish or English?
I do the Premier League ones. I do in English, but when it's like Colombia national team, if I find a Spanish way to do it, I'll watch the Spanish because it's always better.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. There were a couple times a few years ago when they only had the Spanish on for some. I can't remember what I was watching, but it's like, so I just listened in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I mean, I know a little bit about it, but it's, you're just mostly, I was watching what was going on, not listening as much. Yeah. I tend to tune out the announcers anyway, especially if I don't like the announcers.
Right.
With football.
I know.
With football, yeah, it was kind of good this week because the Packers game that I was streaming it actually, and usually what I do is I mute the sound of the national announcers, and I have the Packers radio on instead, and there's usually a bit of a time lapse, so Larry will announce, or Wayne will announce what's going on, so then I can kind of watch for the play. I kind of like it. It doesn't bother me. Some people bother, but anyway, this last week it was in sync for some reason, 100%.
Oh wow, nice.
So, yeah, I was like, oh, this is neat. They should do that every week. But anyway, so what did you think about how did you feel after that weird game? Did you just?
I don't know. I didn't have too high expectations, to be honest, because of the Lions. They're doing so good. But I also wasn't expecting to look that bad. So I just kind of like, I turned the volume off because like Tom Brady was annoying me.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't listen to that.
Turn it off. And like by the fourth quarter, I was like, why am I still watching this? So yeah, I don't know. It was a weird feeling after, and a weird game, but I still wasn't like panic. Like I don't think it's like time to like press the panic button yet.
Yeah, no.
Right.
So I was just like, all right, let's chill. We have the bye week. Let's go to get some fresh air and like reassess after. I didn't want to freak myself out too much because I do that a lot. I go from 0 to 100, like trying to control myself.
For me, like I didn't think we were going to win. I didn't go into being like, that we got this. It definitely was like, I don't think this is very likely because the Lions are so good right now. But what I really wanted to see was the team not embarrass themselves, and I kind of feel like they did, you know. So that was why I was let down about it. But yeah, there was no panic because I feel like all the stuff that they're screwing up is fixable. Except for
Yeah,
just
and
we
they
need a better
start
pass
and
rush.
like
But
exactly at the beginning of the game, they just made so many mistakes, like in the first like
Mhm.
2 drives. So it's like when
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
a team, you're playing a team that's doing that well, you can't really come back from like mistake after mistake after mistake. So yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Still, I'm still okay, but
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask both of you this question. Of course, first to Cecilia. Did you feel like weather impacted the Packers but not the Lions? Like were they like a lot of, especially toward the end, Jordan Love kept dropping the
snap.
yes, when it was snapped to him. What did you
Yeah,
think? Did you think
I thought it was weird how much it affected them. And I also started seeing a bunch of tweets that said Lambeau's really not a home field advantage anymore. And
No.
it's kind of
It definitely isn't.
so it's like,
Mm-mm.
yeah, like I don't know. I felt like the Lions had a grip on the rain better than we did, which
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
playing.
Did you think that? Man?
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected because, you know, being a dome team, you think they wouldn't know as well how to play in the elements, but it just comes down to like they're playing better disciplined football, which I think helps them to overcome that kind of a thing, you know, the weather,
Mm.
overcome a lot of kind of stuff, you know. So I think that both teams were being affected by the weather, but the Lions just being more sound, you know, at their base, it just didn't matter as much, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And true North Packer fan. My guess is that the escaped lab monkeys are heading for Dawn's house. Yes, I will take care of them. They have a home with me.
There's this. What's this about?
I have no idea.
Oh, I thought maybe there's like some local news for you guys, like bunch of
Yeah, I
lab
was
monkeys.
like, did someone escape from the zoo?
I don't know. The escaped lab monkeys.
To my lab? That's funny.
But I would take care of them because I don't think that we should test on anything on animals. It's not reliable,
Right.
for one thing, and it's just cruel. So bring them over here. Like, come on, monkeys. I'll take care of you. I was so sad when I heard about little squirrel Peanut this week. Did you guys hear about Peanut?
Yeah, that was wild.
I only heard a little bit about it. I was kind of out of touch with that one.
I'm not even going to repeat it because it's just too depressing. I got very upset about that at the beginning of the week for days. Anyway, so okay, Iowa is saying that True North is in fact one of those escape. Oh, so he's coming over. I got you. Okay,
That'll be fun. You guys have a nice time. So
I'd have to get some monkey food, I guess.
just eat bananas.
Cat food. All right, and then yeah, because there was a lot of hype about, and it's true that Jared Goff usually can't play very well in the elements. This was rain, not snow, but anyway. So my feeling was the Packers, if the Packers were playing even halfway normally to their level of normal,
Right.
they would have been able to stand up to the Lions. Now, would the Lions have then picked it up more and just pounced them anyway? I don't know, but yeah, I was expecting a little bit more of a game. I was expecting a good game. It was just like, that was not a good game to watch. It was not competitive. It was just dumb. It was like, what are we doing here? So yeah, I don't know what to think because it's not like the Lions beat us, because they have like walloped other teams like 52 points with 7. So they weren't able to do that, right? But so like even if we played half our normal,
yeah, we can be more
a close game. It would have been a close game. Yeah, because it really was a 10-point game in the end. So, but they might have picked it up too. But either way, you never know what's going to happen when you can't.
It's gotta move on.
There's so many different things. But anyway, we're moving on, and we've got bye week, and hopefully they come out of the bye not half asleep like oftentimes can happen with teams. So, but yeah, it was disappointing in that there was it wasn't competitive at all. It wasn't competitive. And I was actually very pleased that I forgot the name of the player who got ejected. 32, whatever his name. Because he did.
Brian Branch, right? Is that who it was?
Brian Branch. I remember him being in the draft and being like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind him. He'd be a good player." I just wish they would do that more, and because it was unacceptable. But there was, I guess, a game in the evening I didn't see where something very similar happened, and they didn't eject the guy. I don't even know what they did with him, but I don't think he would have been he wouldn't have been ejected had he not. Wait a minute, how did it work? Yes, he got the penalty, and then they said they would eject him, and then the extra 15 yards came from his nice little reaction to that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't follow any of it afterwards. I was going to see what Dan Campbell said. Did you guys hear anything about what he said about it? Okay, yeah, because I totally forgot about it until just now. It's like, oh, that's right. I think he was not in favor of the ejection, but I think they should really make an example of people who are doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. And it should be more often than once. So I did get I picked up a little on, well, they only did it because it was the Packers or because it was a primetime game or something like that. I don't know. I think it just depends on who the officials are.
Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm surprised that our player, who did they hit? I forgot who they hit. Was it Josh Jacobs?
Yeah.
Or was it Emmanuel? I forgot who they hit, but I'm surprised he didn't go into concussion protocol.
Was it Bill Melton? Here, I'll look it up real fast.
Oh, yeah, it was Melton. It was Melton.
That's what I was thinking it was.
Yeah.
He tweeted that he was
guys too.
Yeah, but usually, even if they feel like they're fine, if they get hit in the head now, the NFL has it, so they have to at least go into the tent and do like the vision test and all that. Not protocol, but yeah. So, all right. Well, yeah, it seems like 100 years ago that game, but yeah, that was kind of a weird situation. I was excited about seeing the game in the rain, though, even though it wasn't snow. It's like winter's coming, and I was excited about seeing some weather. You know, I think that's fun. And we see it on the East Coast. It's fun for them, it's great for me watching from here.
Fun for us, yeah. He's 20 and 75 still.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's your Twitter, and America's Finest City is, in fact, not just Cecilia's saying that San Diego is America's Finest City. That is their tag name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we done it just as, of course, because I live there or whatever. But like, no, that's actually like their motto or whatever.
Cool.
What did you say?
That too is pretty cool. I do love it. Very, very much.
Yeah, it is cool, and it's true. It's true. But all right, Cecilia. Well, I know that you're not staying on for superlatives, but we really we love having you here. There's 2 more questions we like to ask. We like to ask every single one of our guests. It's actually one question, but it's 2 parts.
Okay.
So it is, what is the thing that you love the most about Packers Twitter? And the second part
Packers
is
online community, we might say now.
Yeah,
but
Packers blogosphere, wherever you are, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you love the most, and what would you change if you had the power to change it?
Ooh. I think definitely my favorite part of connecting with all these people is like that, connecting with so many people from all over. It started just like, I don't even know how I like got into it. It just kind of slowly happens that you start following people that start following you, and all of a sudden you have like this huge community. And I love, my favorite part has been going from that to like meeting them in person, like at dates, and just making friends, you know, from all over the world. Like when I was just there for the home opener this year, I just met so many people that I had been talking to and like seen on Twitter for years, and I'm like, oh, they're real. Like, you know, like you go to Lambo and like even if you go by yourself, you're never by yourself, you know.
Mhm.
You have the community. Like when I met Matt the first time, it was like he was coming by himself, I was coming by myself, and it was just like 5 of us that met up and had the best time. So
Yeah.
I love that. If I could change something, is that we wouldn't all live so far away.
Aww.
So we could see each other more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
neat. I love that.
like it's very positive. Like, I mean, obviously it's Twitter. There's always people that are going to come and try and push some buttons, but
Mhm.
for the most part, everybody's very sweet and you get along, and you create those relationships that if it wasn't for social media, if it wasn't for the internet, you would never be able to create. So
That's true.
definitely a force for good there.
I
Well
love
said.
that.
Yeah.
I love that answer. No one's ever said that about, I wish just we lived closer as being the one thing they would change.
Good answer. Yeah.
It's a great answer.
Yes.
Well, thanks again for spending time with us. And if you're not following Cecilia, if you're not following Cecilia, her Twitter. Do you want people? Where do you want people most to follow you? Twitter.
Either one is Twitter, Instagram.
I qualify that today. Okay.
Twitter, Instagram. Twitter is at Cecilia Diaz _, and Instagram is Cecilia _Diaz.
Oh, okay. And it's spelled CECILIADIAZ. Right.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know you or don't know how to spell, because that would be me. Well, any final thoughts before you go?
No, thank you so much for having me. Nice to see you again, Matt. Hopefully
you too.
Green Bay again, and Don, you're up the street, so hopefully we can meet in person sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be great. If you need somebody to go to a volleyball game, I have not been able to convince any of my friends.
Calm down.
I will. I'll meet you there.
All right.
All right. You have a good night. Thank you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Cecilia's just the sweetest. You know, I saw 2 games with her basically because we were both in town for the Cowboys game 2 years ago, Christian Watson's like big breakout game. And she was there when we were in town, you know, for the Saints game last season.
Oh, was she?
I saw her at a party on Saturday night that Dan Kotnick was hosting. I think that's where I saw her.
Oh, right. I didn't get over there. Yep. We were.
Yeah, Dan Kotnick's whole family actually.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's just so sweet, just so like full of energy and you know, vivacity and life. It's good to see her.
Very good to see her. I'm glad we finally had her on the show because she lives close by, and it's always, like she said, I wish everybody lived closer. But then we probably wouldn't be on the social medias because we'd be seeing each other in live, you know. So who knows?
Would that be bad? I don't know.
It would be great. It would be great, but like the whole world, like we've got international people and all that. So, well, Maddie, I didn't bring any superlatives because I just wasn't in the mood. Okay, I get that. It. No, I really have spent. I've had a lot going on in my life, and I've spent what time I have had this week, maybe because I was just feeling about the game, you know, I just like, anyway, but I'm still really paying attention to that trial I mentioned last week. It's an important trial. It's the state of Indiana versus Richard Allen, and they gave their closing statements today. The jury is out, so waiting for verdict. But as you might recall, that trial is not being streamed. It's only, so what I've been doing is watching. So there are a lot of lawyers in attendance. There's even federal attorneys in attendance because there's so much shenanigans. It's just there's a lot of weird stuff about this. And the judge really shut it down, has made it extremely difficult even for the lawyers who volunteer, you know, they're spending their own money just to go watch and take notes. And made it really hard. The one attorney that I followed couldn't even get in today until the last minute. But so what they do is they sit and watch the trial all day in person, taking notes because she refuses to let them have a pad, tablet, phone, anything. So they're taking handwritten notes, and they're doing live streams, which is like 4 o'clock. They start like at 4 o'clock my time, and it takes all like hours because they're they're doing like dictation of the trial. And so but even one of the attorneys that I follow who really plays things close to the vest, she will not criticize the defense or the prosecution ever. That's her MO. And she's even like saying this is not right. Like there's a lot of things going on there that's not right. So I've been kind of engrossed in that.
Nice. It's good place to be.
Yeah. Well,
when there's so much going on this week, like, yeah, seriously.
Yeah, no, I don't need to like have negativity going on. I mean, not that this is a positive thing, but I just feel like it's a sort of like almost a civic duty to keep your eyes on things like this, because
absolutely
there could be, I don't know whether he's innocent or not, but it seems a little thin as far as the evidence against him. But the way that they have put him in prison, not jail, to await trial, prison in solitary confinement for over 13 months, which is by all standards, even by the prison standards, they don't do that for more than 2 weeks in their worst cases. So what is going on there? I mean, and so he's kind of lost it and he's confessing. It's a mess. It's just a very sad mess. But anyways, so that's my excuse. I've been kind of engrossed in that a lot, along with being just extra busy lately. So what do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, kind of before I get into my superlatives for the week, the thing I wanted to talk about for a second is it's been really interesting to see this week. There's been such a huge like migration from Twitter to Blue Sky among the Packers Twitter. Because Don, we say the phrase Packers Twitter like probably several times every episode.
I know, I
would
said
imagine,
it tonight.
you know? Yeah, it's like a phrase that it's just so ingrained to say it. And to see that excuse me, Packers Twitter is gonna maybe start to become Packers Blue Sky,
Yeah.
And I want to like kind of shout out Dusty here, because it was a couple of weeks ago that he posted on Twitter. He's like, I'm maybe spending some more time on Blue Sky, which like I think there are a lot of good reasons to find an alternate platform. Again, I'm trying not to get political here, but just to say that I personally very much agree with a lot of reasons to find a new platform. So I was like, all right, well, Dusty's checking it out. I'll go like make a Blue Sky profile and kind of get a sense of what it's like over there. And so at that point, it was again a few weeks ago, I was like, there was like some Packers people, the functionality on Blue Sky, it's like Twitter without a whole lot of the features that Twitter's developed over time. Like you can't do group chats, you can't follow certain accounts, like get notifications, that is, so like for example, I get notifications on my home screen from the people who have notifications on Twitter. We've said this before, like I have notifications on for Andy Herman, Bill Huber, Ian Rappaport, Tom Grassi, and a few other folks like that. So it's not a thing yet in Blue Sky, and I really would like that to be a thing, because that's how I get a lot of like the quick news, things throughout the day, at least as far as football news, that is. So like, it doesn't have that yet, and just it seems like kind of Twitter light in terms of functionality, but that's a really reasonable payoff for now, because I feel like those things will probably be developed over time as people keep like asking for them and as more people get to the platform. Sorry, I just have to throw this out here really fast. True North Packers fan chimes in, I'm never leaving MySpace. Never. Hilarious. So suffice to say, the vibe over there right now, at least for now, as like many Packers Twitter folks are coming over to there, is like, it's awesome, because people are just like, hey, I'm just so happy to be here, and like we don't have any ads. There's not a lot of like negativity that's like popped up yet. It seems like really good vibes. People like really happy to be finding this new platform together, and for so many people to be moving on over to this. So like it's gonna be really hard. Excuse me, goodness gracious, my throat tonight. It's gonna be hard to fully leave Twitter for a while, but I feel like if we get more beat reporters posting to Blue Sky, if we got a couple more folks, who we some of our other favorite follows that aren't there yet to kind of coming over too, I think it could eventually become like a really viable like new primary, if not only social media space for a lot of us. For now, I'm kind of like kind of if I had 3 feet, I have 2 feet in Blue Sky and 1 foot still in Twitter, basically. Foot and a half and 1.5 foot the other, because we only have 2 feet. But you know what I mean. So right. It's been very interesting to see that happening this week, and it's something I'm really excited about and very welcoming of.
For sure. When Dusty made that post a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, I've got to do that. And I've just been so busy lately. And
Sure.
then I thought about it today, and I think you and I were thinking about it at the exact same time, because you're like, yeah, I was going to talk to you about that too. And I was like, I'm there. But then I also mentioned to you another platform. I forgot what it was called last week. It's all sports only.
Oh, you're talking about Autograph. Is that what it's called?
Autograph is, yes, also great. So that's just only sports, because I will say that might be where because I can't have 3 feet or even 2. I don't even have 2 feet. It's like, I throw stuff out on social media, but I don't like sit and look at it. I don't spend much time on social media. I've got several platforms, and I thought that's what Threads was going to do, because we started with Threads and that never really happened, which I don't understand why. But I guess it's just hard to move all your, you got a bunch of followers and all that. But yeah, but it was great to see, like, I was on for just a few minutes and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Aaron Ellis is following me. Oh, Dusty's following me. Oh, and then right before we started tonight, I don't know if I said, did I already say this? No, I think I said this to you in the back office, in the green room. I saw a news article, and I was like, I don't want to see that here. So I blocked it, because earlier than that, I saw this one guy, I think he's following me. I saw somebody post, look, here's your chance to just, if you don't like a feed and you don't want to see it, just block it. Like, just block it right away. Because what happens with a new app is they'll get the diagnostic, like they'll get the analytics and stuff from people doing that. And so if a lot of people are saying, yeah, I don't want to look at news here. I could do that anywhere, right? I just don't want to see a lot of certain things. I did notice too that the Swifties are really into Blue Sky.
Oh, really?
Migrating over. But yes, so for those listening, that's where, if I spend any time, that's going to be where I spend time. I don't know that I can do both. Yeah.
And I'm probably going to be building a profile page for our podcast over on Blue Sky.
Thank you. Yes, we can do that.
So we'll have a presence there in terms of the podcast as well. I saw earlier that there's even like I don't know if it's an app or a website or what exactly, but we should be able to even migrate over like all of our content from the Twitter page onto the Blue Sky page. So I think we should like be able to have all the old stuff like uploaded there too, it looks like. So I need to play around with that and see, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's good. I am too. I'm very positive. So for those listening, find us on Blue Sky, and I'm just following everybody back at this point. So
exactly, yes. Every single person following them, like follow. Let's do this.
Follow.
This community.
Right.
Follow them all.
Nice.
Everybody.
Yeah. Let's just a happy place. Right. We're kind.
I'm definitely going to be of the mind on Blue Sky. Like, I will follow back anybody until they give me a reason not to.
Right.
So
right. I mean, unless you can tell from their profile, it's like, no, I don't think so.
Right. Which I haven't really seen one like that yet. So
I got one. Yeah.
Got one. All right. So superlatives, Dawn. So I do have 3 as usual. The first one is best in-game tweet. So, we've often talked about Paul Noonan on this show. Extremely creative individual, very funny, very smart. And so one of that's all great, yay. But the thing I think that I love the most about Paul Noonan is that like the references he makes tend to be kind of niche and are ones that I usually almost always get. And so the tweet that I loved during the Lions game was sort of like lyrics, a song about Cleet Blakeman, the referee. And it's the kind of thing he just had the lyrics written out, like sort of like a parody of the song. And it's kind of thing where it's like, if you didn't know what the song was, you weren't gonna be able to guess it. And so I was reading, it's like, oh, that's Meet James Enzor by They Might Be Giants, which, kind of a niche reference at this point. But like, so one, he's making this great reference that I love because I love that band. But then also like, it was extremely well done. I would, if I were a better singer, Dawn, I would go ahead and sing it out loud right now for you. But suffice to say, no one wants to hear that. So suffice to say, it was really well done. I was just sat there like, as it sort of like revealed itself to me as I realized what the song was, I couldn't help but like laugh out loud, which was especially needed during like one of the frustrating moments of the game. So Paul Noonan, man, That was amazing. Like so much
Thank
stuff
you.
you do.
Well,
That was really great.
I think he posted something right after our last show, so it would have been Friday, I think, of last week.
Mhm.
Hashtag about Jared Goff. His hands are smaller than most other quarterbacks, and he kind of had a chart, but he had hashtag tiny-handed vampire. And I was thinking about that so often during the game, and it was like, that tiny-handed vampire is doing just fine. I was so excited to see him drop the ball a million times. Hey there, Casemiro. Yeah, so anywho, love that. And he's over on Blue Sky already too.
Yes, he is. He's leading the charge. In fact, too, he even put together like a sort of compilation of like the first few Packers people who made it over there. So kind of a starter pack for folks to find. Yep, I reposted it, and of course you can find it on Paul's own. I don't know what any of the terminology is, his own page or whatever. So
right, and it's not posting.
I think it is posting because you don't know. It's not. What is it?
It let me look. I forgot right now. It was skeeting.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing about that, right? Because I'd be like, Sky tweeting is where that came from. The guy, like the CEO of the company is like, don't use that word for that because that actually means something else, Dawn. So, but the lore definitely, was that people, I think, still use that. I think officially it does say like post. But yeah, colloquially, let's say skeeting. So
okay. Hi, Skeeter. Yes, we're going to get back to the Ravens Bengals in a minute here.
That's right. So
how's it going? Is it exciting? Is it a good game? It was kind of like, I love Derrick Henry. I love Joe Burrow. I know they're on opposite teams, but I thought it'd be a good game. So yeah, I'm
actually excited to see the end of it. So let's get to that. So my second superlative then to move things along here was best tribute. So Tyler Herrick, of course, does a lot of the socials for Cheesehead TV as well as his own stuff, obviously. And for Pack a Day for while we're at it. But he did a really wonderful, just 1 minute quick compilation kind of as a tribute to the Smith brothers. Back when they were both, with Green Bay, that very exciting, couple of years where they were together and locked in and like doing amazing things. When they came in, with the trade with Adrian Amos and Billy Turner that year. And, remember back to it, like you kind of forget about these things because every year, things kind of change and there's always new stuff. Going back and revisiting some of those like clips from their interviews together, because they had sort of like a bromance, and would be in like a lot of times in the interviews together being hilarious and awesome. And so I was like, oh yeah, man, Smith brothers, that was so fun. It was such a fun moment,
right.
So like it was like clips of that, and so the name of the compilation was Fun While It Lasted.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder of the impermanence of life and how we need to stop and like soak in the good moments while they're here, because eventually they're going to be the good old days and you won't know it until it's too late. So really enjoyed that from Tyler. It was of course well produced. It was a little funny. It was a little, nostalgic. It was well done.
I love that. And by the way, shout out to Skeeter Girl, who's my YouTube friend who just popped in.
Nice.
She might have heard Skeet. I don't know.
Don't Google skeeting.
But
all right, so go ahead.
I think that's like a game where you shoot in a disc in the air.
That's also a meaning for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
I can explain what I'm talking about after the show's over.
No, I don't want to know.
G-rated shows. All right, Don, for my third superlative here. My third superlative is best comfort listen. Okay, so I'll just say, like, I'm having a hard time this week with things without getting into it too much here. But Iowa Joe says that's skeet shooting. Yes, correct. So trying to find like the silver linings, the joy, the places of comfort, the small victories, stuff like that. Definitely, it was very comforting to listen to the Wednesday Pack a Day crew because they recorded like election night, so like things hadn't gone down yet, but their rapport, their just hilariousness, and the way they answer the questions, the way Steve makes fun of Sarah and Sarah gives it back to him, and Dusty's kind of in the middle. He'll like join one side or the other, kind of vacillate back and forth. Just their rapport. It was such it gave me life, Dawn. It gave me life today listening to them from this week's Wednesday Pack a Day episode. So, Dusty, Steve, and Sarah, man, I love you guys. It was a great episode this week. It was much needed. Thank you.
Ditto. Yes, thank you for being you. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What a great one to end on. Our old we talk about them not as often lately. I was thinking about that this week. It's like we haven't brought up the Wednesday Pack a Day in a while. So yeah. Please wait till afterward. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but that doesn't mean we're not thinking of them or listening. So yeah, Wednesday Pack a Day is the riot. It's the best. It's the best.
It's the best. It's a party listen for me every week. It's like, zip. It's Wednesday. Throw that on the top of the queue for the podcast. Let's go. Yeah,
exactly. All right, Maddie. Well, hey, let's get back to that game. I'm excited. I hope it's a good one. I hope it's a good ending. And I want to see Joe Burrow take the win.
I do too.
Really, yeah,
I do too. I mean, the Bengals are my like adopted second team since I live in Cincinnati. But yeah, no, I like the Bengals. So
yeah. Okay,
all right.
Maddie, let's bring her home.
Let's do it. All right. So folks, do make sure that you're following Cecilia Diaz on Twitter. I don't know if she's going to Blue Sky eventually or not. I have no idea. But at least she's on Twitter, and she's a great follow, great person, just an absolute, light. You can find her on Twitter, Cecilia Diaz, Cecilia, Cecilia Diaz, Diaz, then an underscore at the end on Twitter. So make sure to check her out. She's great. And friends, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms and will continue to be on Blue Sky. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right. Because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod, and we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.